Well, Bubba, rugby's changed a lot over the years. Big game tomorrow. World champions, Tri-Nation champions, big pack, merciless. How do you think it'll go?
Well, the Springboks are coming off two bad losses. Australia haven't hit any form this year. Robbie Dean's under a lot of pressure. People on the squad are under a lot of pressure. It's a bit hard to see which way it goes, but I think Australia might have a slight advantage because they really need a win. There's talk about Dean's getting sacked before the World Cup. I mean, it's only talk, but, that wouldn't have been in the press at all 12 to 18 months ago. Springboks are desperate for a win, but I don't think they will come good until they get back to South Africa.
Now, obviously, two critical players in the team. Dan Carter, absolute legend. Giddo, missing with the boot. Both have been out of form. Points would be critical. Of course, Carter won't be there because he hasn't been bought by the Box just yet.
Mate, I thought you'd lost the plot there for a minute.
I had. But Giddo, mate, he's been all over the place, bit erratic. Is that a telling point?
Yeah, he's been under pressure. The press have been saying he doesn't deserve his place and talk about a riff with Deans. As Kate, he needs a big game. He's under pressure for his position.
Is he a guy that under pressure is likely to respond, or is he likely to fold?
No, I think he's been there a long time. He should come good.
All right. And what about the brains trust element? You've mentioned a lot about Robbie Deans. Robbie Deans is obviously a man that's taken Canterbury to heights, well respected. Obviously, he doesn't have a crop of players available to him as to when he was in New Zealand. But between him and the senior players, having had the chance to look at Daniel Carter and the All Blacks absolutely decimate them 2 weeks in a row, are they going to get enough tactical tips on the strengths and weaknesses and how to play this outfit?
Yeah, I think so. It just depends if Australian forward pack's going to put their hands up. I mean, our scrum has just been disgraceful this year. They try and talk it up for the last game, but it still wasn't much better. They were just terrible against England. It was like fat little schoolboys playing men. I just don't know what's happened to Australian rugby. We used to bash the Springboks and we used to bash the All Blacks. Now we're like the little kids in the schoolyard getting bashed ourselves these days.
And look, what do you think that is? Is professional sport meant that those, guys are less apt to get injured, or is it the fact that they're just the current grain of Aussie sportsmen are in the league and Aussie rules fields, or are they skating and surfing?
I don't think professional sports has done rugby any good. We saw the guys in '99 win the World Cup, but most of those guys who played in that World Cup had spent half their career as amateurs. I used to go out in labour throwing bricks around all day, turn up to Queensland training, and then and train just as hard as the guys do now, plus hold down jobs, and now they do nothing except train. I think they get a bit stale, and I think they get a bit soft. Their pub rugby is Brisbane pub rugby used to be really, really good. Now it's terrible. Sydney pub rugby is the only thing keeping Australian rugby going at the moment. It's not much better. There's a lot of things wrong with Australian rugby.
And you see any solutions in sight? Is it a case of people getting over the professionalism era? Is it really getting rugby out of sort of selected CHS and private schools into mainstream areas? The schools that play.
I think rugby's definitely moved out of the CHS, GPS sort of thing. You've got these, MacArthur Sports High Schools, and the combined high school team is generally winning the annual round against the big private schools. It's a bit wider than that. You've got Western Sydney with 2 million people, and the Australian rules are pouring millions of dollars in there, and I don't think Australians are spending $10 there. There's 2 million people there, and they produce a kangaroo in Western Sydney every 18 months. AFL sees the potential there, and Australian Rugby Union's doing nothing. So there's all sorts of problems at all levels. You go to any club, any junior club, any school, and they'll tell you what's wrong with Australian rugby. basically it was a revenue stream that's set up to pay teams of players. That's where all the money goes. There's no money for anything else.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? So all the money's gone from developing what Australia's famous for, sports paddocks and coaching clinics so everyone can have a go, and suddenly everything's about the Wallabies. I remember sort of going out the last live game of rugby I saw, and I actually vomited 15 times onto my own lap every time I heard the Vodafone Wallabies, and it was almost like the rugby was secondary to yuppies wearing R.M. Williams shoes, pretty girls in the stand, and the advertisement campaign. And really the only thing that can change that, Bubba, is probably some disgraceful results and some hungrier and leaner and meaner administrators come through, administrators that have played rugby, done scrums and learnt to kick on the paddocks and near the coal mines, because it certainly does have that air of softness about it, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's there's a bit of a malaise around Australian sport at the moment, especially rugby union. I mean, I don't even watch it before then these days. It just disgusts me watching it. It's just the lowest level of rugby going around. Then I watched the Super 14 final, and the two South African teams were just sensational. And that's the sort of rugby people want to watch. But the rest of the Super 14 season was just terrible. And then you see how useful it is for the forwards when the Northern Hemisphere sides come over here and just bash us in the forwards. And then England just treat us like, even though we won the test, they knocked our forward and pack around like, we weren't even there. So that's, the Super 14 doesn't give any preparation for forwards. I haven't seen a rolling maul in Australia for 15 years, I don't think. We used to, Queensland, we could do them for 30 metres. I remember in 93 against the All Blacks, we were doing 30-metre rolling mauls against them, and Laurie Main said we had the best rolling maul in the world, just for Queensland. Just disappeared completely from the rugby in Australia.
So, look, being the eternal optimist, if the Wallabies,
I think I'm just about to go and play. I'm so pessimistic. I think I'm just about to go and start slashing up, mate.
Well, listen, mate. Yeah, me being an eternal optimist, I'm hoping the Wallabies.
Oh, you are, not me.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping the Wallabies can get up. So I've got two closing questions for you. If the Wallabies are going to get up, who's got to stand up to be counted is the first question. So have a crack at that one first, and then I'll close off with a pearler. Mate,
it's got to be the front row. I mean, I don't know how Robbie Deans keeps clicking the same tighthead prop. He does. Mafu, he does look like a fat schoolboy, and he's been getting bashed every test match, but he keeps getting picked. I'm pretty sure he's here tomorrow. I don't know where we get front rows from. We just haven't got any. But front row's got to do something and not get terrorised like they have been.
And the second question, when do we get to eat another 30-egg omelette at your place?
Mate, anytime you visit beautiful Gosford, mate, I'll stitch up a 30-egg omelette. I'm actually making a vegetable frittata at the moment that you'd enjoy, right?
Well, look, mate, my kids have heard all about your 30-egg omelette, so at one stage I shall stop in there with Dan the Man and the rest of the clan, and we'll have one of those 30-egg omelettes. Look, mate, I've got to shoot through. I've got to get to the airport and go off and earn a living. Unfortunately, the pursuit of income gets in the way of the pursuit of watching rugby and 30-egg omelettes, mate. Thanks for your time, Boa. All the best, mate. Cheers. Bye-bye.
See you, mate.